As some of you may already know, angels are not always these beautiful winged humanoids, but instead Lovecraftian entities with more eyes to count than on one hand. But just because they are beings of divine unknowability doesn't mean that we can't get to know them. In this instructional video, I will take you through the 4 steps of surviving an angel encounter. As you watch, please consult our in-flight safety manual, the Holy Bible, which we shall reference throughout this video. This is How to Survive an Angel Encounter. Step 1. Be not afraid. In Christianity and Abrahamic religions, angels are divine emissaries that work on behalf of God, and sometimes their work involves you. While our angels have been instructed with simple de-escalation procedures, their physical appearance might give away their honest intentions. This line has become a bit of a catchphrase of theirs. If you've ever wondered why they want us to calm down, let's explore angelic encounters in the Bible and the origin behind this curious phrase. Let's take a story we all know. Christmas. While the shepherds watch their flocks by night, an angel of the Lord visits them.
Be not afraid.
This is the most frightening day of my life. The terrified shepherds watch in awe as it is joined by a choir of singing angels. Imagine being a shepherd in the 1st century, and suddenly this thing appears. I'd be scared too. And that's kind of the point. When angelic encounters happen in the Bible, visitors will often be overwhelmed with fright. It's because these entities are meant to inspire fear and devotion at the same time. Throughout the Old Testament, the biblical writers constantly remind people to fear the Lord. In other words, if you're not scared, you're not doing it right. So, if you find yourself witnessing an angelic encounter, remain calm and follow the procedure, and adopt the prayer position as shown in the diagram. Step 2. Know thy angel. With this holy visitor floating above you, now is a good time to identify which kind of angel we are dealing with. If you've watched any previous instructional videos, you'll know that angels come in many shapes and sizes, from big, small, and this. Over the centuries, many have organized them into a hierarchy. One of the most influential comes from a 5th century Christian mystic, who divided them into 9 classes. The most common variety are simply called angels. Their main job is to relay messages from God. Think of them as divine postal workers. Like how one angel had to stop Abraham from sacrificing his only son, Isaac. You see, God wanted to check whether Abraham had the guts to go through such a thing, and it seems like he did. For an angel had to swoop in at the last second. This episode, known as the Binding of Isaac, has to be one of the most awkward father-son days out in biblical history. Other angels don't bring messages of peace, or even messages. Like one angel, who visits the camp of an enemy army and takes out 185,000 soldiers in a single night. Perhaps the strangest encounter is in the book of Genesis, where an unnamed angel wrestles with the patriarch Jacob, finally winning by resorting to dirty tactics, dislocating Jacob's hip. The next class of angels are the archangels. They are still messengers of God, but only work on special deliveries. These angels are so special, in fact, that they have names. Like Gabriel, he appears throughout the Bible, like when he announces to the Virgin Mary that she's been selected to give birth to the literal Son of God. This surprise pregnancy announcement is a key theme in Christian art, and is known as the Annunciation. Gabriel is one of the most important archangels in Christianity, but he's just as important outside of Christianity too. He also appears in Islam, where he is known as Jibril, the angel who revealed the words of the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad. According to a series of Islamic writings known as the Hadith, Jibril is said to be a being of pure light, with 600 wings. Another well-known archangel is Michael. In paintings, he's often shown wielding a sword and clad in the finest armor, trampling demons beneath his feet. But Michael's big moment is the Last Judgment, where he will weigh the souls of the righteous and cast away the souls of the damned. These are two of the most important archangels, but there are plenty more out there, from Raphael, Uriel, and the amazingly named Metatron, an angel from apocryphal literature. Scholars believe that the convention of naming angels comes from later periods in biblical history, perhaps inspired by the mythology of ancient Persia, which includes many figures just like these. The third class of angels are the principalities. These angels don't deal with individual people, but instead global affairs and the fortunes of countries. Now, not much is known about them, so think of them as the CEOs of the angelic world, delegating smaller tasks to lower angels and ensuring that everything on Earth runs smoothly. If the previous three angels deal with mortal affairs, the next three deal with cosmic affairs and the running of the universe itself. In order, they are the powers, warrior angels who guard the universe from the threats of chaos and darkness. The virtues, distributors of divine grace and mercy. They're responsible for miracles and are to thank when you find your lost passport. And the dominions. These angels pass on orders from God's inner circle and maintain the harmony between earth and heaven. These angels only appear in a handful of biblical passages, and so very little is really known about them. But the same cannot be said for this next group. Now we're entering really strange territory. The ophanim, also known as thrones, they are described as an interlocking set of wheels, covered in eyes all along the outer rim. They can be found in the book of Ezekiel, where the prophet is met by a bizarre vision of God's throne. Hovering before him are these wheeled beings, able to move in any direction. These wheeled angels are strange, but they may have their roots in ancient cultures. You see, early depictions of God have him seated upon a throne with wheels at the bottom. In fact, across the ancient Near East, we see similar images depicting kings upon chariots. Over time, these evolved into the angels we see today. Even the name ophanim literally translates to the wheels. And so we're left with these ring-like angels. But why all those eyes? They may symbolize the all-seeing, all-knowing nature of God, constantly in motion, always watching. These next angels are equally strange. The cherubim are hybrid creatures with 4 heads: a lion, a bull, a man, and an eagle. These portable petting zoos are fierce guardians of God's heavenly throne. Think of them as divine security detail. These beings appear alongside the ophanim, but this time they're known simply as living creatures, which is an understatement if you ask me. Another mention of the cherubim come from one of the oldest sections in the Bible, the Book of Psalms. In one passage, God rides upon a cherubim and rains down thunder and lightning for all those below. It's a passage that has much in common with ancient Mesopotamian deities, which often feature winged bulls known as lamassu. In Western medieval art, these beings were transformed into cherubs, these harmless chubby babies that you'd find in a Valentine's Day card. This makeover was likely inspired by Roman mythology. But in Eastern Orthodox art, these entities kept their original form and remained just as weird as they appear in the Bible. The final angel you need to know about is the seraphim. Perhaps the most mysterious of all, these beings have 6 wings each and are made of pure fire. Their duty is to surround God's heavenly throne and sing praise to him all day, every day. The name seraphim means something along the lines of the burning ones, and for good reason. In the book of Isaiah, the biblical prophet meets them in a vision, during which a seraph brings hot coals to his lips and sears his mouth, an act which is supposed to purify his speech and burn away profanity. When encountering a seraphim, just be sure to bring some lip balm and some aloe vera for the burns. That brings us to the final angel in this cosmic hierarchy. By now, you should know the difference between angelic messenger and eldritch being beyond human comprehension. If you've followed steps 1 and 2, you should now have a calm mind and a clear understanding of what sort of entity you're dealing with. And now you're ready to handle your upcoming encounter with confidence. Which brings us to step 3, the most important of them all. Step 3. Heed thine instruction. This step is essential to get right. After all, this angel is here for a reason. So let's not waste its time, shall we? If you get it wrong, you'll have hell to pay, as the people of Sodom and Gomorrah so kindly illustrate. Sodom and Gomorrah. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. It's a city so evil that God decides to bring their wickedness to an end by destroying it entirely. But beforehand, he sends a few angels on a scout mission to see if there are any righteous people still left in the city. Soon they meet a man called Lot, who generously offers them a place to stay for the night. However, the townspeople are so intrigued by the arrival of the angels that they gather outside Lot's house. They are so excited that they demand to, quote, know them. Translating from biblical, to know someone carries a very different connotation as it does today. In a bizarre attempt to de-escalate the situation, Lot offers the crowd to get to know his daughters instead. At that point, God has quite frankly seen enough and plans to end the wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah once and for all. On the menu is good old-fashioned fire and brimstone. Following a tip-off from the angels, Lot and his family flee, while the city burns behind them. But under no circumstances are they allowed to look back. So Lot's wife decides to look back, and in that moment is transformed into a pillar of salt. Forsake around and find out. This story teaches us a few things on how to successfully manage your first angel encounter. Do offer a bed to the angel. Don't attempt to get in with them. Step 4. Acquire Gnosis beyond human comprehension. At this point, you are now ready to receive your divine knowledge. Now, I ought to mention that there are some psychological side effects with prolonged exposure to angels. Throughout the Bible, those who communed with the divine were often ostracized and left at the fringes of society. Others, though, were respected for their visions, like Hildegard von Bingen, a German abbess who wrote about her dreams featuring angelic visitors. In later years, artists would sketch her encounters, leading to a series of strange and unusual artworks. So, if everything has gone right, your encounter with the angel will have granted you hidden knowledge about the secrets of the universe, although you may find yourself forever changed. Remember, if you encounter an angel, these 4 steps will serve you well. Be not afraid, know thy angel, heed thine instruction, and acquire Gnosis beyond human comprehension. We hope you have enjoyed this safety presentation. Wish you a pleasant encounter. Warning, this video cannot take responsibility for arcane awareness, apotheosis, and/or recurring apocalyptic visions. Please consult a priest if side effects continue. For acute symptoms of a fallen angel encounter, familiarize yourself with the nearest exorcist. Hey, thanks for watching. I had a blast making this, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Now, I want you to cast your mind back 5 years ago. For me, I would release a video that would change the trajectory of this channel forever. My goodness, what a journey it's been. I've always wanted to revisit the topic of biblically accurate angels, and so I thought this format would do just the trick. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.